Hi everyone, it's Mike Marchand again here with another vendor demonstration. We're going to jump over to a video sent to us by Zappy Dots. Then I'm going to name my final Throwback Thursday favorite quilt show memory for today. But first, we're going to cut over to a quick commercial break, and I'll be right back.
Welcome, quilters! We hope you've been enjoying the new online Quilt Fest experience. Why OLQF is free and open to the public, the team at Mancuso Show Management have put countless hours into getting everything just right. To help keep the online Quilt Fest and, when the time is right, our in-person events up and running, we are asking for a suggested admission of just $10. We've placed a link to our suggested admission page right here in the description of this video. You are free to leave more if desired, but we truly appreciate anything you can send. Thank you so much for being here with us, and we hope you are staying safe and healthy while enjoying online Quilt Fest.
Hey everyone, like I said, I have another video for you today. It comes from Zappy Dots. Zappy Dots has been one of our long-standing online quilt festival vendors. We're really happy to have them as part of the show. They offer some products that are really unique. They aren't exactly your traditional quilt show products, and that's why we're so happy to have them. So without further ado, here's a demonstration video from Zappy Dots.
So I'm going to show you some of the very basic steps on English paper piecing and the tools you need and how I use my Zappy Dot products when I'm English paper piecing. So English paper piecing is basically wrapping a fabric around a piece of cardboard. You're wrapping the seam allowance around, or this is cardstock, excuse me, wrapping the seam allowance around it. And then when you piece it together, you do a whip stitch at the corners, on the edges. So what the advantage to it is it's very portable. It's something that you can take with you. I take mine everywhere. It's something I also do like in front of the television, something that I do in the evenings when I want to just have some handwork and just kind of relax. So the first thing you need to do is have some cardstock cut into the shape that you're working with. Here I'm using hexagons, which is a very, very traditional English paper piecing shape. It gives you this grandma's flower garden shape, which we've all seen. So I've got some hexagon papers, and I purchased these online. You can cut your own, or you can be lazy like me and buy them from someone else who already produces them. So, and you can see I've used these before because they have holes in them. You can use them a few times. And then I've cut some fabric that's just a 1/4 inch bigger all the way around than the cardstock. And I really eyeballed it. It's not exact. It just needs to be bigger. And what I want to do is turn all the edges under so that they're sticking on this side. So one way to do it, and this is a way many, many people do it, is to glue the edges under. And you can buy a glue stick that is designed for quilters that's skinnier than this one that's just a very generic glue stick. But what you do is you glue the edge and fold it over. And I usually go to the opposite side so I can pull it taut. Put a couple dots of glue. Fold it over. You see how my edges are folded over, and I have to get that corner. I do it all the way around. And when you do the corner, see how you just want to make a nice little miter right there in the edge in the corner and get it stuck down. Okay, so once it's all stuck down, you can take this to your iron and give it a nice press with your iron, and it'll melt the glue, and then the glue will really hold it tight, but it's not going anywhere even just as it is. So that is one way to get all of your edges turned under, and look how cute that is. The way that I tend to do it though is I like to baste it with thread. So what I'm going to do is I just put that paper there so that my mat didn't get glue on it. So what I'm going to do is take one of my needle nannies. Not needle nannies. Needle nannies. Sorry, I forgot the name of it. And you see how it's got a disc and it's magnetic. The purpose of these is that you stick it to, you know, put the disc on the inside of your shirt and then stick the pretty part. That's my quilt. This is 40. It's found a little on the nanny. And you put the disc on the inside, the pretty part on the outside, and when it's clipped to your shirt, then you can stick your needle to it as you're working so you don't lose your needle. But I'm going to use it here as a magnet. So I'm going to put the disc on the back or the front, whichever the case may be. See, and they're strong, so you're going to just be aware of that. But you want them to be strong because you don't want the paper to slip. So then I'm going to take a thread, and this time I'm going to take a thread that is a contrasting color to my fabric, and I'm going to turn the edge under and I've knotted the thread, and I'm going to put the knot on the right side of the fabric over here. Come up, and then when I get to the corner, I'm going to miter that corner. So I see how I folded the side, and then I mitered it over, catch it with my needle, and then on every other side, I'm just going to go right in the middle. So these, let me see what these are. These are 1.5 inch sided papers. I like them bigger just because I don't want to deal with the really small ones, but they come in lots of different sizes. And then I'm going to put it down in the corner again. So you're going to do that all the way around, and that will keep the paper in place. And you see how the magnet, my paper isn't slipping at all, which is exactly what I want. All right. So once I get around all the way to the other side, so I have one that's already finished. Oh wait, I should show you what I do at the end because that's actually important. So clip that corner, coming up, and now I'm gonna miter this last corner, put the needle down, and instead of tying a knot here, I'm just gonna come back and back stitch 2 stitches, and then I can clip my thread and I'm ready to go. So then what I do with my needle is I can put it on one of my little needle nannies, or I put it in this little magnetic tin, and I keep my threads and my needles in that tin. And then when I'm ready to go, you know, like I don't really go anywhere now because of COVID, but when I want to go from my studio to my house, I can close it up. I throw it in my bag. This is my bag I use for paper piecing and English paper piecing, and then it's ready to go. So once I have all of my little hexagons made, then I can figure out how I want to lay them out into my, let's just say it's into a little flower here. And let's do this one every other, let's bring it up here so you can see. All right, so there we go. I'm going to do a flower like this. So the next thing I want to do is sew the 2 pieces together. So I usually sew the middle to one of the edges. So I'm going to take this middle piece and the edge, they're right here, and put them right sides together. And now here's where I'm going to take my needle nanny again, clip it to the paper, and the paper won't go anywhere. And now I can whip stitch that edge. And this time I'm going to use a thread that matches. So I'm going to use this kind of green thread. Again, I knotted it ahead of time. And just do a whip stitch all the way along this edge. And once I get to the end, then I can either tie a knot off, or I can continue. Let's open it up. Let's pretend it's all stitched together. So then it's all stitched together, and I've ended here. Now I could add this piece on here and stitch the next thing. And I would fold it over here, clip my little needle nanny on there, make the edge really nice and straight, you know, so they're flush next to each other, and then stitch it out. What I neglected to say at the beginning is the reason why we put the fabric on the paper. And the reason is because you want it to be nice and stiff, and so it's easy to sew together. And so if I didn't have this stitched down and just had a floppy piece of fabric, it would be really hard to stitch the next piece on there. But since you have the paper on there, it gives it some structure. So you keep the paper in the hexagons until every side is already attached. So that's why I've taken the paper out of the center one, but I haven't taken it out of the edges because I'm still waiting for their friends to join them on the edges. So if I put this piece here, I would stitch those in, and I put another piece over here, stitch those in, and then I could take out this piece because it's already surrounded by all of its friends. So one more way that I use my needle Danny is when I am hand quilting. So all those pieces I showed you in the demo, those were my leftovers from this quilt, which is a full good wall size quilt of English paper pieced hexagons. But now I'm in the hand quilting portion of it. So what I do with my needle Danny is I take the magnet on the disc and put it on the back of my quilt, and I attach the pretty part to the front, and here's my needle. As I am stitching, you know, I go along and I stitch, I have to cut my thread, then I just drop my needle right on that magnet, and I don't lose it in the couch, which is something that happens, you know, frequently if I'm not paying attention. So this is just a good way of keeping track of my needle so I don't lose it. So those are some of the ways I use my notions, my Zappy Dots notions, and I hope you get a chance to try them. So thanks for watching this.
Special thanks to Zappy Dots for sending over that awesome video. We hope you guys liked it. You can be sure to shop all their excellent products by clicking the link above and see that all that Zappy Dots and the rest of our vendors have to offer. So this is my last video for today, and I want to share with you all my last Throwback Thursday favorite quilt show memory of all time. And if I had to summarize my favorite place to have a quilt show, it'd be none other than Lancaster, Pennsylvania. When we had Quilt Fest Lancaster in 2019, this show was, you know, it was definitely an interesting setup based on its location in the renovated, you know, Wyndham. But in the weeks leading up to it, my coworkers and I drove out there to kind of promote the show. And when you go to like a place in Lancaster and you mention a quilt festival, suddenly doors are opened like they've never been opened before. People out there are truly ingrained in quilt art and culture like no other place. The people are nice. The food is outstanding. There's no better place to go for a quilt festival, in my opinion. So if you like Quilt Fest Lancaster and you want to see another show there, be sure to email mancuso@quiltfest.com, and don't stop emailing until they have the show again. A special shout out to my two coworkers who did the promotions with me, Eric and Michelle. We spent a lot of hours in the minivan promoting the show. We kind of like began to lose our minds at the end of it, to the point where Michelle was mooing at cows as we went by them. So it was definitely an interesting trip, and we hope to go back there again. Shout out to the York crew, who was neighboring right over in the neighboring town of Lancaster. And we hope to see you all in Lancaster, Pennsylvania sometime soon. This is Mike Marchandi signing off for today. I will see you guys tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of the Spring Quilt Festival online.